everyone, this is Vince the Prince, your crown prince of professional wrestling, with the first episode of WrestleTalk dedicated to independent wrestling. I went to a show over the weekend run by the great promotion, Northeast Wrestling. Please check them out at northeastwrestling.com. They have a good mix of current superstars, legends, and your local independent wrestlers, which makes for a great show. Before the show, they have a meet and greet with most of the wrestlers come out and do the meet and greet. One of the guys there was Ron Simmons. Ron is a great guy, nice guy, really easy to talk to, very gracious, and very happy to see that there are people who, you know, still remember the legacy that he's left on the sport with his tag teams and being the first African-American World Heavyweight Champion, which, thank you, American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, for that one. The Hurricane was there, a very unexpected appearance. He wasn't really here for an appearance or to wrestle. His girlfriend, Talia Madison, is one of the regulars at Northeast Wrestling, and he came in. He was backstage most of the night, popped out for about 5 minutes. He looks good. He doesn't have anything on his neck. He looks to be getting around well. I hope his injuries heal fast, and he gets back to the ring. I've always liked the Hurricane, even when he was Sugar Shane Helms and 3 Count and all that stuff. I hope he comes back, and I hope he comes back better than ever and gets some sort of push. The first match on the card was Kurt Adonis and Fred Curry, the Connecticut Idols, versus The Now. The Now came out expecting to get a face reaction. Did not happen. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the hair. Maybe it's the airbrushed sport coats. I'm not really sure. Or maybe it's just because the rather effeminate but wholly entertaining choreographed dance routines by Kurt and Fred just really endeared the crowd to them. Put on a pretty good match. Kurt and Fred pick up the W, and for their troubles get chokeslammed and powerbombed by Sid Vicious. That's the way things go. If I'm missing anything, I apologize. But I'm doing this from memory here, and I have just some notes on my computer as I'm going through this. Bikini contest and match, Talia Madison and Christy Hemme. Nobody loses there. Nobody loses. Talia is extremely attractive. Don't hurt me, Hurricane. Christy Hemme is really attractive. Don't hurt me, Lance Hoyt. Beautiful girls, bikini match. Or not a bikini match, bikini contest, followed by a match. Jerry Lawler was the MC, and Ron Simmons was the judge. Ron Simmons declared the winner by looking at Talia and going, "Damn!" So, which got a great pop. Which, that's great. Their match was good. Christy Hemme got some big heat on her by choking Talia in the ring ropes and saying, "Is this your precious little girl?" and all this really crazy stuff while just beating up Talia. And Christy wins with her hands on the ropes. Pretty good women's match. And a lot of heat, a lot of good build, and of course the bikini contest left everybody happy. There was a first blood match between Ron Zombie and Michael Sane. Michael Sane is managed by Big Daddy, who happens to be one of the best independent wrestling managers working now. He's great. He's got a lot of good facial expressions, and he freaks out, which is really funny. If you can get him riled up, he freaks out. Like my sign that said Big Daddy loves Twinkies. He flipped on that one. He's really funny, and he'll tell the fans to shut up, even if they're not saying anything. He'll just point at them and tell them to shut up. The first blood match was going good, but the finish got messed up because Ron started bleeding 3 minutes into the match, and I'm not sure if it was the one-way sign that got hit into his head or one of the hooks on the ring post. But it was right around that area, and those two spots came one after another, and he got a pretty good gash over his eyebrow there, and it was pretty nasty, but they managed to knock out Sal, the referee. Sorry, Sal, had to be done. And continue the rest of the match until Sal declared Michael Sane the winner. Now we're going to have a cage match between Zombie and Sane, and if Zombie wins, he's going to get 5 minutes alone in the cage with Big Daddy, which, that should be an interesting one. I'd pay to see Zombie against Big Daddy. Who knows? Abyss came out. Good to see Abyss. He was not advertised on the cards. Kind of surprised everybody. He came out for the meet and greet, which was cool. Really nice guy, again, to talk to. And he comes out, beats some jobber in about 2 minutes. And it was good to see him. He comes out, you know, click, Doomsday, Black Hole Slam, kind of finishes the job. he's the next big man in the sport. He's the next great big man. When Kane and Undertaker go, he's the next one that's going to be carrying the big monster persona. And I hope he does well with it. He's already done well. I hope he continues to do well with it. We had Xavier versus Jason Blade, which was a great match. I didn't know what to expect coming into it. Not saying that I was expecting it to be a bad match. I just didn't know how Xavier and Jason Blade were going to work together, and they ended up putting on a great match. Xavier ends up winning and retaining his Northeast Wrestling Heavyweight Championship, which, you know, he's the heel, so boo. But it was still a great match. Jason Blade really surprised me with some of the stuff he does. He sold a clothesline by flipping around about 5 times in the air after getting hit and hitting the mat. He really sold well, and the match was just great. Then we had Romeo Roselli versus Brian Anthony. Romeo, formerly of the Heartthrobs, and Brian Anthony of Bethel, Connecticut. Brian wins a lot in Northeast Wrestling because he brings about 25 fans that all pay their admission and go sit in the corner of the bleachers and wear their green t-shirts and cheer for him. The only downside to that is that they leave right after his match is over, so that's a big chunk of the audience that's missing. Mike O'Brien and the Northeast Wrestling crew got hip to that trick and decided to put his match as the second to last match. The crowd, his fans still left after his match and missed out on the great main event, but that just shows you what kind of fans he has, and it's unfortunate that he's got fans like that because they're all cheering for him, and then the rest of the crowd is booing just because they know what's going to happen. They already know that he's so popular with this group of people that's willing to pay tickets that he's going to go over, and a guy like Romeo, who could be back in WWE at any second, is going to have to do the job. That's not a dig on Northeast Wrestling at all. That's just the way it is. I understand it, and that's the way it is. The main event was a really good main event. We had Jerry the King Lawler, my idol, my hero, against Sid Vicious. I'll tell you what, this match was better than any match that you could possibly see on Raw or SmackDown or ECW. I don't care that they're older, they can still throw down and they can still put on a great match because they grew up, or they worked their way up through the old school, and Sid came into this big face reaction because it's the first time we've seen Sid Vicious in years, and he's trying to make a comeback, and everybody's cheering, but before the match, he does about 5 minutes of gaga, walks around the ring, refuses to lock up. They do a 10 count where he comes back at 9. He has the ring announcer tell the fans that he hates them so much, he doesn't want to talk to them. He spat at us. He called the guy next to me an asshole. You know, he did a lot of stuff to get the crowd riled up and get a whole bunch of heel heat on him, so he had a clearly defined face and a clearly defined heel, which is very, very rare to see on WWE programming, especially if you're watching a main event with John Cena, because then everybody's cheering for the heel by proxy. But, great match. Sid got himself in great shape, and he's getting around well. I know he was walking around with a cane because of that broken leg that he suffered from WCW, but he was walking around well. Lawler still puts on a great match and should be wrestling more on Raw. It's a travesty that they have Ric Flair wrestling, but not Jerry Lawler. It's a double standard that I don't like. Sid wins with a foreign object, boom, pin, again, a lot of heat, but great match. Turns out Johnny Ace and Nova, Mike Bucci, were in attendance, also known as Simon Dean, to those you current fans. They were in attendance, scouting, I hope. A lot of guys on the card could be ready for OVW or WWE programming. Romeo could come back right now. Romeo could come back as a singles wrestler right now. I think Xavier could definitely have his spot in WWE. A lot of the guys could, and I don't know if they were looking at these guys, but they should have been. The guy they were probably looking at was Sid, and Sid is so ready. Sid is ready, he's in shape, he can still go, he is still the master of the powerbomb and master and ruler of the world. Please bring him back, have him do his comeback, and end his career on top, because he really deserves it.